Trouble now with the House Freedom Caucus, he might lose his job. Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan, who has obvious presidential ambitions of his own, has never given President Donald Trump more than lukewarm support, and sometimes even gone out of his way to try to undermine him. Now Rep. Ryan appears to be in trouble, as former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon and members of Congress' Conservative Freedom Caucus, including Reps. Scott Perry, Jim Jordan and Mark Meadow, have confronted Ryan about finally supporting President Trump's agenda legislatively or else risk being stripped of his speakership. Stated The Washington Post about this evolving situation, while the trio personally like Ryan, who remains popular throughout the House, one of the people familiar with the discussion said the three members were frank about their mounting concerns and warned Ryan that they and others in the House Republican Conference could desert him in the coming months if the leadership fails to enact conservative policies. The article continued, several people close to Bannon and Meadows said on Wednesday that the two men, who met on Monday on Capitol Hill, have begun to discuss who could replace Ryan as Speaker, should conservatives rebel against him. But they stressed that those discussions remain speculative and informal, with no plan yet for action. Former Speaker John Boehner stepped down months after an effort led by Meadows in 2015 to unseat him. Ryan's spokesperson Ashley Strong attempted to spin the situation, saying, "Every single day the Speaker talks to members about their concerns, ideas, and anything else they'd like to discuss. Being accessible to members is part of the job and one he makes a priority." However, commented one Republican lawmaker who did not wish to be named, "If things don't change, and fast, the American people will demand new leadership in Congress." Do you think Paul Ryan should be replaced as House Speaker? CNN claims that President Trump would have allowed Jesus to be tortured. CNN once again invoked religion to try and insult Donald Trump and conservatives. CNN's Chris Cuomo interviewed Democratic Senator Ed Markey, who compared President Trump to Pontius Pilate, the man who sentenced Jesus to death on a cross. Next topic, DACA. You're a veteran of the progress, or lack thereof, on this issue. What do you make of the president's move, which given in its best light is the courts were going to move on this anyway? This is your job, you're supposed to make the law, not President Obama. I'm sending it back to you. Fix it, asked Cuomo. The president is acting like Pontius Pilate. He's just washing his hands of this mess knowing that these are all innocent young people who are caught in a crossfire, responded Markey. Rather than being presidential, rather than standing up and saying that he will be the leader, he's just walking away. It would be far better if the president was saying that right now. Be a leader and tell us what the solution should be, said Markey. Pontius Pilate, a Roman governor, sentenced Jesus to death after a crowd brought him in. Even though he asked the crowd why? What crime has he committed? The crowd continued to demand his death. Pilate gave up reasoning and let the crowd have their way. I am innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility, said Pilate. Check out the video below. Al Sharpton's group demand Kid Rock be censored for what he said about Kaepernick. Al Sharpton's civil rights group, the National Action Network, is protesting Kid Rock's shows and rights to play at a stadium because of his political views. He has been praised for his philanthropy in Detroit. But despite this, the group wants him out of Detroit because he insulted Kaepernick. Everything is different post-Charlottesville. These are moments where you have to act as a matter of character and state what your values are. Everything now is becoming symbolic. That means we have to choose our symbols carefully, said the group in response to Kid Rock playing at the stadium. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. When you hire Kid Rock, who is known to be dog whistling and catcalling to white supremacist organizations and the white supremacist community, alt-right, whatever you want to call them, and you take our tax dollars to do that. That's wrong, said Reverend Charles Williams too. Despite everything they're saying about him, he has donated a lot to help black people in Detroit. He also spoke against the KKK in recent shows. If you want to take a knee or sit during our Star-Spangled Banner, Call me a racist 'cause I'm not PC and think you have to remind me that Black Lives Matter. Nazis, effing bigots, and now again the KKK, screw all you a-holes, stay the F away, said Kid Rock at a recent concert. It's no secret we're divided, and we all should take some blame. We should be ashamed that we all seem scared to call him by his name. So please, Almighty Jesus, be looking down tonight. Please, God, give us wisdom and give us strength to fight, he said. Former basketball player Dennis Rodman promises to go to North Korea and straighten things out. Former basketball player Dennis Rodman has a friendship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. They became friends years ago when he was traveling and found out that the dictator was a fan of his. Dennis Rodman is now claiming that the Trump and Dunn and find common ground and get along. And that he can straighten this whole mess out. This is real. Every time I see him, he's always calm, he's always smiling, especially when he's with family. To me, in person, without all the things that have gone on TV and potentially a war or something like that, if you see him just sit at a table, he's just like everybody else. He's always laughing, smiling, talking to his people, that's it, said Rodman of UN. I understand how he's a dictator to his people and he trusts to be him admin, but I've never seen anything like this in the world, said Rodman. I think if the president even tries to reach out for Kim, I think it will be a great possibility. Things can happen if Donald Trump, if they sit down, and have some type of mutual conversation, said Rodman. Rodman also revealed that he gave Kim Jong-un a copy of Trump's book Art of the Deal. For me to go over there and see him as much as I have, I basically hang out with him all the time. We laugh, we sing karaoke, we do a lot of cool things together, we ride horses, we hang out, we go skiing and we hardly ever talk politics. And that's the good thing about that, he said. Check out the interview. Chelsea Handler gets crushed after claiming that anyone against DACA love Nazis. Comedian Chelsea Handler went on an angry rant against Trump supporters. She tried to claim that if you are against DACA, it means you love Nazis. She got crushed for it. I would like to apologize on behalf of the entire Trump administration. We're sorry for making it clear that white supremacists and Nazis are welcome in this country while young, hard-working immigrants brought here as children are not, said Handler. Dreamers are our co-workers, our neighbors and our friends, she said. She went on to claim that Dreamers are better than Donald Trump. That means they've never obstructed justice, colluded with Russia, defrauded people through a fake university, funneled millions of taxpayer dollars into their businesses, falsely accused people of wiretapping them, carelessly talked to the Korean dictator with nuclear weapons, bragged about sexual assault or pardoned a racist maniac, she said. It doesn't matter what a president who has had everything handed to him on a piss gold platter thinks about them because we're going to stand up and defend their right to be here, she said. People were not happy with her ignorant comments. If you took and passed 10th grade civics, you'd understand why DACA was flawed. At this point what you're doing is just virtue signaling, wrote one user. Check out the video below. Steve Bannon just told the truth why the Catholic Church supports DACA. Many prominent members of the Catholic Church have come out against President Donald Trump's decision to end President Barack Obama's unconstitutional DACA program. The New York Archdiocese's Cardinal Timothy Dolan went so far as promising to protect Dreamers and said, "This is contrary to the spirit of the Bible and of our country, and a turning away from the ideals upon which our beloved country was founded. All of the Dreamers who now face such uncertainty and fear, please know that the Catholic Church loves you, welcomes you, and will fight to protect your rights and your dignity." During a recent interview with Charlie Rose, Steve Bannon said why the Catholic Church is wrong about the issue, and what their real motivation is with it. Asked Charlie, "Can I remind you, a good Catholic, that Cardinal Dolan is opposed to what's happening with DACA?" "Cardinal Dolan," replied Steve, "the Catholic Church has been terrible about this." Bannon continued, The bishops have been terrible about this. By the way, you know why. You know why. Because unable to come to grips with the problems in the church, they need illegal aliens. They need illegal aliens to fill the churches. It's obvious on the face of it. That's what the entire Catholic bishops condemning. They have an economic interest in unlimited immigration, unlimited illegal immigration. And as much, Rose cut him off, commenting, "Boy, that's a tough thing to say about your church." Bannon responded, "As much as I respect Cardinal Dolan and the bishops on doctrine, this is not doctrine at all. I totally respect the Pope and I totally respect the Catholic bishops and cardinals on doctrine. This is not about doctrine. This is about the sovereignty of the nation. And in that regard, they're just another guy with an opinion." Do you agree with Bannon? Watch below. Their hatred is so irrational. Huckabee rips Whoopi and Joy for what they said about him. Outspoken Trump supporter Mike Huckabee recently appeared with his daughter, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, on ABC's liberal talk show The View and were instantly bombarded with nasty far-left slurs. Stated the show's co-host Joy Behar to Mike, "Trump, the things he says about women are just horrendous and we all know that. So let's not pretend that he hasn't said some horrifying things about women. We know that. Just nod. You don't have to say anything, just nod because you know it's true. Having said that, how can you let your daughter defend him?" Commented fellow liberal Sunny Hostin, "There's a well-documented history of racism. How can you sit here and say he's not a racist?" Added Joy, "I don't understand how the evangelicals can support him. You're a religious person. Some of the things that have come out of this mouth are so against the Bible, so unreligious of him. How can you support someone like that?" In an appearance on Fox Business News following the ambush on ABC, Huckabee took the Liberal View hosts to task for their disgusting comments. Said Mike about Joy and company, "I have to believe there are a lot of smarter people in the American public than they think there is." He added about the hosts, "Their hatred for Donald Trump is so irrational that I think that comes across." He continued, "But it's just amazing to me to think that they believe they are representing." Do you agree with Huckabee? Watch below.